And here I sit with no hat on, trying to get my computer ready. There we go. Hey everybody, Jason Akers, Akers Pest Control. And tonight, I want to talk about bug bites. I want to talk about how to tell if you have bed bug bites, how to tell if you have flea bites, how to tell if you have a spider bite. So that's what I want to talk about. Now, a lot of people will see this and they'll go, oh, that's a scary topic. You can't talk about bug bites because, well, everybody's different. And that's true. So, no two people react the same exact way to a bug bite. The reason that I want to talk about bug bites tonight is because I had somebody contact me off and on throughout the day talking about bug bites and bugs that are biting them and fleas and all kinds of things. And so the last few questions I was being asked were if fleas were her problem or if maybe she was having problems with bed bugs. So the reason I wanted to talk about that right now is because that's just what's going on, and that's what I decided to talk about. Hey Dee Dee, how are you doing today? Had a busy day. I was all over the place today, driving everywhere, killing bugs, doing termites, all kinds of things today. But so there's one thing about bug bites that you need to understand is that bug bites cannot be diagnosed. So if you go to your doctor and you have bug bites on your fingers, or you have bug bites on your thigh, or you have bug bites on your legs or your arms, then you need to understand that they're not always bed bugs. I actually had a customer the other day whose doctor told her that she had bed bugs and that the bites she had were bed bug bites. And when I went to her house, she didn't have bed bugs at all. She had ants. The ants were getting in and they were crawling on her bed and they were biting her. She didn't have bed bugs at all. I couldn't find any bed bugs. I couldn't find any blood spots. I couldn't find anything in her house that would show that she had bed bugs at all. And so that's the thing about bed bugs or bug bites is that you can't properly diagnose a bug bite. So that's why I was talking about that tonight. That's what I wanted to go on about because I've had people that have contacted me with specific types of bites that swear they were this or swear they were that, and it ends up being something completely different. So you can't truly diagnose a bug bite. You can't really tell if someone has a bed bug bite or if someone has a flea bite or if someone's been bitten by a spider. Now, there are specific types of spider bites that you can tell if the spider has bitten somebody. For example, a brown recluse causes a flesh-eating bacteria underneath the skin. And so it's obvious that a brown recluse has bit you because your skin starts to literally rot off of your body. That's a brown recluse bite, and it's obvious that that's a brown recluse bite. A black widow has a nerve toxin. So if she bites you, it causes nerve damage, and it can cause similar symptoms to, say, upset stomach, diarrhea, something like that. So you'll have nervous problems with your nervous system and things that would be indicative of that. So because a bug bite from a bed bug or a flea or a mosquito are very similar types of bug bites, they're almost impossible to distinguish one from the other. So if you've gone to your doctor or your exterminator and they've tried to tell you that your bug bites were this or your bug bites were that, it's not. They can't actually diagnose a bug bite. Now, if you bring them a bug and you could say, this is what bit me, then it's a lot easier to diagnose a bug bite. Even then, you can't truly diagnose it unless you actually know that bug specifically bit that person. So, yeah, and that's right. And you can't really know. Dee Dee says the doctors shouldn't say a bite is a specific bite if they don't know for sure. And that's absolutely true. They really shouldn't, because you can't really diagnose a bug bite. But it happens all the time. A lot of doctors will say that, like for example, I have a customer of mine, this was years ago, that came to me and said that their doctor said they couldn't have pest control in the house anymore because the chemicals were causing them to have an allergic reaction. And it ended up being that the lady actually had mold growing underneath the house in the crawl space, and it was coming up through the floor, causing them to have an allergic reaction from mold. And it wasn't pesticides at all. In fact, she had a problem with black widows in the house, and they were actually roosting, living around the child's play set out back. And it turned out that it wasn't mold at all. I mean, pesticides at all that were causing her an issue. It was actually caused by a mold that was growing underneath the floorboards inside her kitchen. And it was. I hope everybody's having a good night tonight. If anybody has any questions, Carla Walker says, I have been spraying Crossfire 8 months. I sprayed again Monday this week and found full-grown ones last night on the bed. Do I change chemicals? So this is a question I get pretty regularly about any pesticide, not just Crossfire, any type of chemical. This is something that can happen. All right. Now I'm going to be blunt. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be, I don't hold punches. That's something that people know me for. Is if you're continuing to have bed bugs every month for 8 months, you're probably continuing to reinfest your home. How did you get bed bugs in the first place? Do you know how they got in your home? Because bed bugs are something that travel from person to person. And so if you brought them in from, say, public transit, or you have a friend or a family member that continues to visit and continues to drop them off in your house, you'll continue to have adults, you'll have nymphs, you'll have eggs, you'll have every stage, because you can transport live adults on your clothing. You can, it's highly possible. I don't believe you've got an issue with a immunity to Crossfire. If you do, you're one of the first people I've ever met that has. But I mean, I guess it's possible, but I've never seen it before, not yet. So I kind of think that it's probably coming in from another location. What I have found, and this is in the last 3 to 4 years since I've been using Crossfire, is the houses that I do where they continue to have problems after treatment, every single time, and this has been this is guaranteed. This is what's happened every single time. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. My mind went blank for a minute there. But it's proven. It's been proven that this is how the people continue to bring them in. One of my customers had them coming in from the trunk of their car. They helped a friend move, and the trunk of the car was infested with bed bugs. So if you're going to, say, Target or Kroger, Walmart, somewhere like that, and you're picking up groceries and you're bringing them home in the trunk of your car, and you're transporting the bags from the trunk of your car to your home, and the trunk of your car is where the infestation is still present, then you'll continuously bring them back and forth into the house from the trunk of your car. Do roaches develop immunity to alpine quickly? Also, do they develop immunity to Gentrol? I haven't noticed that roaches would develop immunity to Gentrol, but I've never noticed them developing immunity to alpine. Now, I have noticed bed bugs developing immunity to alpine, but I haven't noticed it in cockroaches yet. Cockroaches die so fast from an alpine treatment that I have yet to ever have a problem with immunity. You typically develop immunity issues after 90 days. So if you're using the same pesticide on your cockroach infestation for 90 days, then that's how long it takes to develop an immunity. That's why you want to rotate your pesticides. Since I've been using Alpine for cockroaches, I don't believe there's ever been not one single instance where I have not been able to eliminate the cockroaches in like less than 3 visits. So that's pretty good for cockroaches. Carla says, I just got furniture from my daughter. So if your daughter has bed bugs and you know that's how you got them in the first place, it's possible that that's where the bed bugs came from. Maybe your daughter has them. And the thing, too, that a lot of people don't understand about bed bug infestation is a lot of the people that spread the bed bugs don't even know they have bed bugs. So that's absolutely something that could be an issue, is if your daughter doesn't know she has bed bugs and she's continuing to bring herself and her children or maybe to your house, she could be dropping bed bugs off at your house. and not even know she's doing it. So when I try to point fingers, I talk about, this person probably has them or that person has them. I'm not trying to, point fingers and say that they know they have them and they're doing this intentionally. It's usually completely by mistake, by accident. Most people do not know they have bed bugs for months. I mean, I've known people that didn't know they have bed bugs for years, if you can imagine that they didn't actually know that's what were bothering them. They just knew they'd wake up and they had bug bites, and they had never actually heard of bed bugs, didn't even know what bed bugs were, and just assumed they had mosquitoes. That happens all the time. That's actually a very common thing with bed bugs. Not very many people on here tonight. There's only 9 people out here. Y'all gotta have some questions for me. I'm here for about an hour, so I want to talk. You guys got to talk. I guess I started too early. My kids actually went to bed on time tonight. They were all well behaved. It was fantastic. I went upstairs, and my son will be 2 on the 15th. So he's a little toddler, and he gives me all kinds of trouble when he goes to bed at night. Always, usually yells at me and screams and hollers and cries because he doesn't want to go to bed. But tonight he was just so happy. Me. Yeah, he'll go me. I'm mad like that, and he don't want to go to bed. But he did tonight. He actually went to bed tonight. Dee Dee says, I agree. Well, Dee Dee, so Dee Dee says, I agree. I believe no one would intentionally bring in bed bugs. There was a story a couple years ago of a guy that was actually bringing them into a Walmart on purpose. So, Caleb Peyton, I'm going to call you Peyton, says, how much do you charge for a treatment? What kind of a treatment are you talking about as far as bed bugs? A bed bug treatment, there's 2 different types of services I offer for bed bugs. So I do a one-time treatment. Did you say that springtails come because of water leak? That's absolutely possible, not always. Springtails come in from, they are attracted to molds and funguses. That's the things that springtails eat. That's what they feed on. But that's not always the way that you get springtails. So what happens with springtails is springtails can actually come from sod. So if you have so let me give you an example of a way that people were getting springtails into their house. It's a brand new house, didn't have any leaks, didn't have any problem with water drainage or anything, didn't have an issue with the roof leaking or anything like that. And that they had somebody come out, and it was like a brand new dirt, and so they laid sod on. The sod was infested with springtails. And because sod has to be kept damp and moist, and so the springtails are attracted to the sod. And actually, if you keep your grass too wet, it'll actually harbor things like molds and funguses. May not kill the grass, but it may be enough to harbor molds and funguses inside the grass in the because the sod's typically like that thick. So they roll it out on the yard, or they lay it out in pads, and this was laid out in pads. And so they brought springtails in and actually infested all around the foundation of the house, and the springtails were coming into the house from that. So if you have problems like that, you can actually treat the yard with a granular insecticide and kill your springtails. They're really easy to kill. So I get back to what Kayla asked me about what I charge for bed bugs. So it really just depends on the type of treatment I have to do. If I do a one-time treatment, of course it's cheaper. If I do a 3-month treatment, it's going to cost more. But that's because I'm doing 3 services. But typically, you can eliminate bed bugs with just one treatment. If you know what you're doing and you treat the right places, I typically don't have to go back after one treatment. Do you know how to clean up dried demon wettable powder? The best way to clean up any kind of pesticide is a bleach water cleanup solution. If you're because bleach will eliminate the chemical, and so you can use it to clean. Just be careful not to cause any bleach spots on carpets or anything like that, but you can absolutely wipe it up with a bleach water solution, or that will neutralize the chemical, the bleach will. And if you're still having a problem with it coming up, you could always use like some soapy dishwater,
what is
like
it
Dawn.
That they want to get up?
They're trying to get up pesticide. So Shelly says, the other morning I was experimenting on how they migrate, and I laid down on my bed and turned the light out, and they migrated within 3 minutes to me and were biting. And my pillow was covered. Yeah, they're attracted to you. They're attracted to the breath you breathe, the heat body temperature you give off, and they'll come out to bite you. Humpty Dumpty, PSN, which is PlayStation Network, says, I got a question. I had bed bugs 2 years ago, did treat, always check, no signs, and I'm scared and stressed out. Can it be a mental thing? Always thinking the worst, and my itch or sensation of on my skin, I freak. I hope I make sense. Oh no, you make complete sense. Let me post a link for you. So this is my live stream right now. If you can stay here, or you can go, I'm going to give you a video that I did the other day. I'm going to link it to you if I can find it. Uploads. Let's see. I want recent uploads. Do I not? I got this thing's not set up too good, is it? There we go. There it is. Oh, that's not it. I don't want to do that. Pause that. Share. Copy. There we go. Okay. So that's a video I made about a couple of weeks ago on bed bugs and PTSD. So hopefully that will help you. At least.
Yeah, my grandmother, she talked about she hates mosquitoes, and we would go down to Chickadee every year to visit my granddad.
You're gonna talk about your family on my live stream, and everybody's gonna hear about it.
Well, we would.
You know how your family is. They don't want people talking about you.
I am just like my grandmother when it comes to something crawling on my skin. It doesn't even have to be bed bugs. Like, I don't like anything crawling on my skin, and I got poison ivy.
So
right
last
now.
week when I was here, y'all talked about how you just love to hear my wife pipe in, and now she feels like she's got to be part of the show now every weekend.
No, I won't say anything else. I'll be quiet.
Because she's sitting right here. Y'all could probably hear her better today because I moved my microphone because I wanted to get a better sound. I didn't like the sound quality last week. So Kayla says, do you hear of heat treatment for bed bugs? Heat? Yeah, I don't think heat treatments work. I think it's a scam. I've been behind too many failed heat treatments. I've got a lot of people that hate to hear me say that. I've got a lot of exterminators that badmouth me. In fact, let me show you a video. So my very first video I ever did, I'll share my screen with you real quick.
Was that your very first one?
Yep. My very first video that I ever did was YouTube. Let's go to YouTube. We're going to search for why heat don't work on bed bugs. So this is my first video. Oh, turn the sound off. You know, I hate ads. These things got so many ads. YouTube is just riddled with them. There. So that's my first video. Why heat treatments don't work. Let's pull it down so you can read the title. If you can read the title. See? Why heat treatments don't work for bed bugs. That's my very first video I ever watched. Most of the people here in this channel that have been with me all these years have watched that video. That's my most popular video. It has, let's see, 182,564 views. You go watch that video. Like I said, that's the very first video I ever did on heat treatments. And you'll understand why I disagree with heat treatments, why I think that they're a scam, why I don't think they work. And why I think that I have to go behind exterminators and fix failed heat treatments all the time. Because I've seen them fail. I know they fail. They absolutely do fail. So I'm trying to keep track of everybody. See, now everybody's starting to pour in here, and it's getting hard for me to keep up with the questions. But I'm gonna have to start hiring you to do that for me.
Mm-hmm.
Is to handle my questions for me and send me questions. But Legola says, "Good evening. Can you please let me know how to get rid of subterranean termites in an apartment? I live on the lowest floor with contact to the ground and with the buildings on both sides. Thank you." So, if you're having problems with subterranean termites getting into your apartment, that's something that you have to hire. You have to talk to your landlord. There's no other way to get rid of termites. They're not going to allow you to do that type of service on your own. It's something that sometimes requires drilling into the building itself. And so the only way to get rid of termites is to hire someone to do it. There are people that do their own termite treatments all the time. It's not that it's impossible to do a termite treatment. It is absolutely possible to do a termite treatment on your own, but I don't recommend it because the type of equipment that you need to do it right is very expensive. And so I recommend that you call your landlord and tell them, because the last thing the landlord's going to want to know is that you went and drilled holes all in the building trying to get rid of your own termites. Because it's your apartment, so you own the apartment and you're trying to get rid of the termites on your own. Like I said, you're going to open yourself up for too much liability if you're going to try to do something like that yourself. It's not worth it. It's better to hire an exterminator to do.
If she's in an apartment, even if she owns it, it still would be under the... What would they function under, an HOA?
She owns the apartment.
Oh, it's her apartment.
She's landlord.
A landlord, I see.
Yeah, like I said, it's not worth saving a few dollars. You're not going to save any money. You're going to actually end up spending more money because when you get sued, they'll because the wall collapses because you're not insured. Yeah, it's not worth the money.
Because most states, as a landlord, because you're renting it to someone else, and you're not living in it, and other people live there for pay, you can't legally do it anyway.
Correct.
You'd be breaking the law.
So in Virginia and Florida, because I've helped people personally in Florida, and that's why I know this is true. In Virginia and Florida, it is absolutely against the law to treat your own buildings for termites if you're renting them out. The reason that is because the state sees you as applying a pesticide for profit, because you are making a profit on the apartment. You are renting the apartment. And so the state says, look, if you're going to apply pest control products, whether it's termite control or rodent control or roach control or bedbug control or whatever it is you're trying to kill, if you're providing a pest control service, even if you are paying for it out of your own pocket, the government says you're doing it for profit, you're collecting rent, you're not licensed, and they will fine you horribly. And so it is not worth it. It is never worth it to do your own pest control in an apartment. And that's just me looking out for you. It's not worth it. Don't do it. And I don't really help landlords do this kind of thing anyway. I don't give advice to landlords because it is bad advice and it is going to cause you more problems than it's worth. And so that's what I do. I try to help people save money, and that is going to cost you more money in the long run. Shelly says, I didn't have bed bugs until 2 years ago, and my brother-in-law brought them in. What do you suggest to use on them? I suggest using Crossfire. That's what I mean, I'll tell you, let me show you. If you go to Amazon /shop/, if you go to that, well, that didn't really make a link, did it? Let me copy that. There you go. There we go. There's a hyperlink. So if you go there, that's my site. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to navigate that, because that is something that I was asked the other day. So let me share my screen again. And y'all can see my background. It's my kids. That's an old picture right there. That's an old picture. That's a good picture. So anyway, let me see if I can go to... I always like incognito tabs. So pull that up. So this is my page. This is my Amazon store. Everything you order here is bought, sold through Amazon. I don't buy it. I just give you links and show you where to get it. So I like this setup because it's really easy for people to understand what to use to get rid of bugs. So if you look here and you scroll down the list, so this is the Green Acres Pest Control LLC. There's me and my kids. That's why you know it's me. And you scroll down, you see there's bird mites there. There's stuff for bird mites. Stink bugs. You've got springtails, like I was saying earlier for, can't remember who was asking about springtails. Cockroach. Those are stuff I recommend for cockroach control. You scroll down and you see that there's bedbug control for Canada and New York, but it cut off the New York part. Mouse and rat control. You've got termites, which is here. That's termiticide. Bedbug supplies. So this is the actual bedbug list here of chemicals that I recommend for bedbug control. And so if you click here, then you see steamers and different things like that. There's Crossfire. That's the pest, and actually that's a really good deal for Crossfire. That's $2.98. That's actually, and that's a full gallon. So that's there. And if you scroll down, I think the smaller one's in there too. Oh yeah, there it is. So there's the smaller one. I feel like I need to sneeze. I'm going to mute it for a minute while I sneeze. Whew, didn't want to blow your ears out. Man, that was a big one too. So here you go. This is Crossfire down here. And so these are the different chemicals I recommend for the use of bed bugs. I also have a B&G here. That's not something that you have to use, but that's what I use to apply the pesticide. So if you're curious. But then if you go down even further, I've got flea control products, spider control, and ant control. So what I do on this page right here is I try to keep it updated always. So if for some reason the pesticides change, and it's, pesticides change all the time. They either outlaw older pesticides or they create new pesticides that work better. That's what happened with Crossfire. They created it new. It's a brand new pesticide. It works better. It's new as of like maybe 5 to 10 years ago. So that's something that I actually recommend you bookmark that page and go there and buy products there. Just because they're trusted products that I use, and that's what I'm trying to teach you about. Now, you don't have to buy them there. You can go to other websites, but every time you buy there, I do get like a 3% kickback that does pay me, and then I use that to do more YouTube for you. So anytime you order anything on Amazon, you should go there first, because then I get everything you order. You don't. So if you go here to this page, and then you go up here to the Amazon bar up here, and let's search for Mario. It's Mario's 35th anniversary. All right, and you scroll down this page. Oh, wow, I like this game. I like this game right here, Mario Maker. So you click that and you buy it. It still gives me a percentage because you went to my page first. So it gives me a percentage of whatever you buy. Actually, I see the shopping carts of people that buy stuff, and they buy all kinds of stuff, other than just like Crossfire or whatever. So it does help me out, and it helps me make more videos and stuff for you guys. So. All right, so let's see. If I go and turn that off. So let's see. What else have we got? Why don't I have bite marks? So if you're getting bit by, Gary, you got lost in the pile. I don't have bites at all, but I have them. Okay, so you're having bed bugs, but you're not having bites. So not everyone reacts from a bug bite. So when a bug bites you, whether it's a spider or a bed bug or a mosquito, you will have a histamine reaction. So your body reacts to the bite, sends histamine to the target location, and then you'll swell. If you're not having a histamine reaction, then you won't have a bug bite come up. It won't be a bite mark. It won't be a swollen spot. So that's why you don't have bite marks. You're one of the lucky people that doesn't react from bed bug bites. Says, thank you so much. I'm going to hire someone, but I don't know how they will drill on the sides where there's other buildings. I'm afraid the barrier will not be effective. If they use Termidor, it'll be effective on the termite treatment. Dee Dee says, Crossfire price dropped back down to $39. I know, it's great. I love it. When it's cheap, it's great. That's when I buy it. I buy it when it's cheap. I buy a lot of my chemicals from Amazon. I do have some suppliers that I deal with, but Amazon has really good prices on a lot of pesticides. And so I do buy some of my pesticides from Amazon themselves. So that's why I recommend them, because I have never had a problem. One of the most amazing things I like about Amazon, and this is when I was a kid, I remember this is the way Walmart used to be. All right. You could take back anything you bought at Walmart and they would refund you, no questions asked. It was the best place, and that's the type of reputation Walmart used to have. They had the absolute best return policy of anywhere. Anywhere. They were really good. And Amazon's the same way, is that you can take your things back and they don't, like if I buy something and it's a piece of crap, I can send it back to Amazon and say, hey, that's a piece of crap. And they'll take it back. So they're really, really good return policy. They really think about the customer, and that's why I like Amazon. And this is not one of those things where I'm trying to promote Amazon, but I just, like I said, they're trusted. I trust them. So that's why I order from them. I don't sell through Amazon. So because Amazon has a really good return policy, I don't sell through Amazon because people will take advantage of the return policy. I had someone, I sold my Xbox 360 a few years ago. And that was one of the stipulations of getting my Xbox One, is I had to sell my 360. So I sold it on Amazon, and the guy actually tried. I only sold it for like $100 or $120, something like that. I gave all the games and the controllers and everything with it, and I thought I gave the guy a really good deal. And I had the return slip and everything showing that it was delivered when it was and everything, and I packed it right. And he tried to say it never got to his house, and Amazon refunded him his money
and took it from us.
So. It's not the best place to sell your stuff, but it's a good place to buy your stuff. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. If I was in the U.S., I would hire you in a second. God bless you. I have a question for you. I have read that bed bugs can climb up plastic storage bins. Is that true? Yes, it's true. They can climb up glass. These are bed bugs. I always do this, and whenever I do this, it makes my wife all really nervous. But so I have bed bugs here. So these bed bugs, this is a glass jar. I guess it had jelly in it at one time, and there's a plastic bag in here. And the reason there's a plastic bag in here is because even though it's glass and it's slick, it doesn't have it's got these little designs on the side. It doesn't have that on the inside. On the inside, it's slick. It's really slick. And so the bed bugs they're in this bag because, and see, I'll show you. I don't know if it'll focus on them or not, if you'll be able to see them in there. But those bed bugs right there, they were in the jar loose. And when I opened the jar, they were up around the lid. So people love to say they can't climb a slick surface like an interceptor. All right, so this is why interceptors don't work. So interceptors are those little plastic trays that people put underneath their bed legs. And the premise is that when the bed bugs crawl up them, they get stuck inside them and they can't get out because one side is rough and the other side is slick. But they absolutely can climb a slick surface. One of the wives' tales back in the day, back about 5-6 years ago, people were saying that they couldn't climb up a bathroom, like a bathtub. And so if you go to a hotel, put your luggage inside the bathtub. But I will tell you, I have found bed bugs living around bathtubs. I have found them living in the little, you know how they'll put those plastic or fiberglass walls, and they usually connect them when they go around the corner with those little strips. I have found bed bugs living in those strips. I have found, and the only way they could get to them is to climb up the shower to get to them. So I know that they can absolutely climb a slick surface. I know they can. People say they can't because they don't have sticky pads on their feet like a flea or a spider, but they can. They can do it, whether they have sticky pads or not. They can do it. So Ahmed says, "Hi, I hired a company a year ago, and now I found 5. What can I do, please?" So if you hired a company a year ago and they got rid of your problem a year ago, and you're just now seeing 5, why don't you hire them again, and so they'll get rid of them again? So I'm going to call you question mark or Riddler. I'm going to call you the Riddler because it's just a question mark on your name. It says a question mark. I don't know why it's a question mark. Let me see here. Yeah, I don't know. But so I'm going to call you the Riddler. And everybody else see it as a question? Or am I the only person that sees that as a question when the guy says, why do some pesticides repel bugs? So the answer to the question, though, is Some pesticides are repellents. Some pesticides are not. So the difference between a repellent and a non-repellent, most of your repellent pesticides are things like synthetic pyrethroids. So synthetic pyrethroids are chemicals that are derived from flowers. Okay, so flowers, if you plant chrysanthemums and marigolds in your garden, they will repel bugs away from your garden. The bugs won't come into your garden and eat your plants. That's a natural pesticide, is planting things like chrysanthemums and marigolds. So what the chemical industry has done is they have taken the pyrethrin, which occurs naturally in the environment, and they enhance it molecularly to last longer. So they create a synthetic pyrethroid, which is a pyrethrin that has been modified to last longer. Because when you take a pyrethrin away from a plant, it dissipates very quickly in the environment. It cannot survive. So what you do is scientists have made it last longer, so it's very safe to use, like around people and pets and stuff like that, but it's highly repellent to bugs. And so the bugs see it as a pesticide because they're used to seeing things like that in the environment anyway, and so they just avoid it. That's a repellent. Most non-repellent pesticides are actually man-made pesticides, like the chlorinated hydrocarbons, the organophosphates, neonicotinoids. They're more man-made, and so the bugs don't actually recognize them as a pesticide, and they don't know, so they crawl through them. So it depends on what you're trying to get rid of, whether you're trying to, like bedbugs, the best way to get rid of bedbugs is by using a non-repellent pesticide, something they don't see. And if you're going to use a repellent, you're going to chase the bugs around, and so you don't want to use a repellent on bedbugs, you want to use a non-repellent. So Jackson says, true that heat treatment is the most accurate treatment? No, it's not true. That's not true. You have not been, you should, okay, so this is where I do a selfless plug, okay? You need to like my channel, you need to follow me, you need to hit the subscribe button. So like, let me show you. So let me show you what to do. So if you let's say, put this window up over here again. Let's share my window. All right. So let's say you're on the internet, like this. Voila. And you type over here, oh, I think I want to go to YouTube. So then you're on YouTube, and you're like, oh, just by mistake maybe, or maybe you just think that I'm pretty cool. You go to Green Acres Pest Control, like that. Oh, what is this beautiful logo of a house and a sun and a beautiful green grass? I will click. Oh, look, I can subscribe right here. So, but let's see who they are first, because I don't trust this guy. This guy's crazy. He's a redneck from Virginia. So then you see, oh, wow, he does live streams. He's got all kinds of videos. Look at this crazy person on the internet. This is great. I'm going to subscribe. So you click subscribe. But you got to make sure you're logged in. So you sign in here, and you sign in with your name, and then you can see me go live like this all the time. You'll be like, your phone will be like, ding, ding, ding. Guess what? Jason's online. He wants to run his mouth. Let's go watch him run his mouth. So there you go. So that's just a selfless plug. If you ever want to come and check me out, and you subscribe and you click the notification bell, because there will be a little bell that'll come up, like right over here. A bell will come up right there, and you click that so that you can not miss a live stream or a video. I try to do my videos. I keep clicking that button by mistake. But I try to release videos every Tuesday. I've got 2 videos need to be edited, but I try to do a video every Tuesday and a live stream every Thursday night. So I'm trying to stay on schedule so people know when I'm online, so they can come and they can ask me questions, because I'm getting a lot more people are messaging me during the day, trying to call me during the day, and I want to be able to provide a free service to you where you can come on and ask me questions. I've been doing pest control for 32 years. I'm second generation. I started when I was 6, 7 years old. That's when I started pest control. So I've been doing this all my life, and I want to help you learn how to do my job. So, all right. So Molly says, not to change the subject, but Now that my bed bugs are mostly gone, tiny black ants are coming in. I figured out how to feed my kitty differently as the ants want to get food. How to get rid of those black ants. Alpine WSG, hands down, or Phantom. Phantom also works, but I don't recommend it because it clogs the tip real bad. So I recommend for Alpine WSG for ants. Thanks for the video. I haven't saw bed bugs over a year. Is that a good sign? And if I don't show bites, will I always stay immune to the bites? Hopefully. And if you haven't had them in a year and you can't find them, then hopefully you won't have any more. So Florette Jackson says, I had a heat treatment when I first moved into my apartment and all the bed bugs were gone instantly, so that's why I asked. Okay, so heat treatments work. Heat treatments don't always fail. I don't agree with the heat treatments. So the reason I don't agree with heat treatments is because there's too much of a probability of it failing. It's not that it fails every time, it's that it fails more often than I want to do with my business. So when you come on my channel and you ask me questions on how can I get rid of bed bugs on my own, the last thing I'm going to tell you to do is go out and buy a heat treatment machine and burn your house down. Because that's what happens when people try to do their own heat treatment. They burn their house down. It happens. It happened twice in Ohio a couple of years ago. People burn their house down trying to get rid of bed bugs. It's not something I advise you to ever do. Ever. So don't do a heat treatment. You have to hire somebody to do that. So what happens when you hire somebody? Let's say you hire somebody to come in and do a heat treatment, and they give you a 90-day guarantee. So this is typically the way that heat treatments are sold. They come in and they guarantee that you'll have instant relief. You will not have bed bugs for 90 days at least. Any bed bugs after 90 days, then you must be reinfesting your house. That is the sales pitch. That is what they tell you. So the problem is that a lot of people don't even realize they have bed bugs for up to 90 days from the original infestation date. So when an exterminator comes in and does a heat treatment on your home, they tell you you won't have bed bugs for 90 days. They are gambling, because if the heat treatment doesn't work, it's an absolute gamble that you won't have bed bugs in 90 days and call them back. But the probability of you discovering that you still have bed bugs within that 90-day period is pretty slim. So they have a better chance of not coming back and making good on the 90-day guarantee. So that's the way it works. That's the way that the algorithm is figured. That's why they sell these heat treatments like candy, because they want you to buy, they want you to spend thousands of dollars more. And I could do heat treatments. The thing is I can absolutely afford the equipment to do a heat treatment. I could go out and do heat treatments all day long. I have people call me and ask me to do heat treatments. I will not do them because my goal is for customer satisfaction. I have a very customer service based company. I provide customer service. I'm here doing this free for you guys. I'm not even charging anything to do this. I'm just here just to help you and give you advice for free. And this is the way I treat my customers at home. This is the way I treat my local area. Is I take care of my customers as if they're family, and I'm not going to give my family bad advice. So that's why I don't do heat treatments. It's not that they don't work. Sometimes they do. But the possibility of a heat treatment failing is a lot higher than a liquid application. I get a lot more success with liquid than local guys do with heat treatments. So it's like, are you going to settle for 80%, 75% success rate? Or are you going to settle with 98, 99, percent success rate? Because honestly, with a crossfire treatment, it has such high success. It just works so well. I just can't fathom doing anything else. And that's why I don't do heat.
I would interject again.
Oh, you're going to run your mouth again. I got a lot of questions I got to get to.
Well, I was just going to say, you also have someone, when you have a chemical application, coming in, like if you do it 3 months or month by month and you take it a month at a time, you're going to save money even if you do 4, 5, 6 months of treatments, which you've never had to do 6 months ever. You're going to save a tremendous amount of money over heat treatment. And you're going to have someone in there saying, wow, this doesn't look right. They're coming from the bathroom. Why are they coming from the bathroom? Or,
well, right.
you get a lot of
right.
feedback that you don't get with the 90-day guarantee.
Right. And exactly. So you can spend less money and do 3 bedbug treatments for a whole 90-day period. You can have a professional come in your house every month and say, oh, like she said, oh, they're around the commode. This actually happened to me one time. Oh, they're around the commode in the bathroom. Why are they in the bathroom? Nobody sleeps on the toilet. Are you sleeping on the toilet? I mean, I don't know. Some people fall asleep on the toilet. I did one time. But the thing is that they don't come from the bathroom. They come from the bedroom. So we deduced that they were actually coming from a neighboring apartment, and that's why they were in the bathroom. And because I was there and I could see that, I knew that that's where they were coming from, and we figured out the problem, took care of the problem. So that's another thing with doing more treatments. So Dee Dee said she's subscribed to me twice. In your 32 years of experience, does anyone have bed bugs in their hair or their ears? Just concerned. Did I do that video? I've recorded it.
I know you recorded it. I don't know if it's...
So I recorded a video for you. I think you asked me this before about hair. I recorded a video today or yesterday about where bed bugs actually live. And I go over hair in that video, and they don't really live in your hair. It's not that they can't, not that they won't try to burrow into your hair like when you're asleep, maybe bite you on your scalp or something like that, but they can't actually live in your hair. And I go over that in the video because there are some wives' tales going around, people trying to say that they'll live in their hair. I'll tell you what will live in your hair is lice. Head lice will live in your hair. Scabies will live around in your hair, not necessarily on your head. And so those are the kind of things that will live in your hair. Fleas can't even live in your hair because you don't have an undercoat for them to grip onto. So you can get bites on your scalp, you can get bites absolutely on your face and on your head, but they don't necessarily actually live in your hair. And so I actually have a video coming soon, maybe by next Tuesday, hopefully. I don't know if I'm going to put that one out first or not. I have a couple that I've got in the works, but anyway, but I go over exactly where they live and where to find them if you're having problems finding them, where to look. So Dee Dee says people burn their house down trying to get rid of bed bugs, and yet the bed bugs are probably on their shoes, their clothes, their car, and their house burns down. And so then they leave the house and they still have bed bugs with them. You're right. I understand. I found a really good heat treatment company that guarantees a 1.5 years worth of retreatment if it doesn't work. Very good point, though. Okay, after the first treatment, will you follow up or will you charge for a follow-up too if we still get bites? So the way that I do my follow-ups is that I tell people if they're still getting bites after the 5 weeks, I tell them go 5 weeks. If you're seeing bites in the 3rd to 4th week, you can do a retreatment. But the way that I do my treatment setup is so I do an initial treatment, and then if they need a follow-up, I just schedule 2 follow-ups for the same price as the first treatment. So basically, I still charge. That's the way I finance it out because I don't do 3 months anymore. I used to always do 3 months of service, but because I've had such good success getting rid of them with just one shot, I just don't charge the customer but for one treatment. And then if they need another treatment, I assume they're going to need 2, and I do the 2nd and the 3rd treatment for the same price as the first treatment. So basically they're getting 3 treatments for the price of 2 is what they're getting. So that's the way I do it, but very rarely. I mean, actually in the last year since August of 2019, that's when I first started doing the one-time services. I think I've only had to go like once or twice. I've had to go and do a 2nd treatment, and they really didn't even need the 3rd one, but I did a 3rd one anyway. So, and that's in a year. And I do a lot of bed bugs. Just to give you an idea, I did a bed bug job yesterday, and I got another one tomorrow. I do about between 2 and 5 bed bugs a week or so. So I do a lot of bed bug treatments. That's what I'm known for because I can get rid of them, and I don't, make people tear their house apart to do it. Mitch says, I might have to step away from this live chat because I'm running errands, but I wanted to ask, where do silverfish come from? Like to hide. I see them every once in a while in the bathroom floor. So silverfish are attracted to, they like natural fibers and animal carcasses. So I have found silverfish in wool. Like if you open a drawer and find like someone that stores maybe wool sweaters or wool shirts or maybe linens, they get into linens and wool. They are attracted to rotting carcasses. So if you've ever had a mouse problem and maybe a mouse has died in the wall and there might be a few, carcasses or something back there, they'll get into those. So they like decaying things, and natural fibers is what they like to get into. And they'll just come in from inside. They're really bad in mulch beds. So if you have mulch and stuff around your house, it's a common place for earwigs. Earwigs love mulch, but also silverfish. I need to do a video on silverfish. I don't think I've ever done one on silverfish. As a business, what are you doing? As a business, in its first year starting out, would you do door hangers at this point in time with COVID and electronics going on, or would you wait until possibly the spring or next year? I'd do door hangers. I did door hangers this year. Door hangers are very non-invasive. I'd go in the middle of the day when you know people are either at work or busy and they won't answer the door. Don't knock on the door. Just hang a door hanger. That's all I would do. Just hang a door hanger. And don't bother them. Don't knock on the door. Don't interrupt their time or their day. And they'll call you. That's actually how I do all of my door-to-door sales. I don't do any door knocking anymore. I used to. I've done it a lot. When I used to work with my dad's company, I did a lot of door hangers. And so, but not door hangers, but actual door knocking and talking with individual people and selling work that way. But I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I don't like it when people come to my door and interrupt my day. I try to be real nice to them because I've lived in that situation. I know what it's like to do door-to-door sales. But it's just an inconvenience. And I just don't like to inconvenience people. And I don't like to feel weird doing it. I always felt really weird. Like I'm going to somebody's house and I'm taking them away from whatever they're doing to talk to me and try to buy something. I feel like I'm almost begging. It's like I'm the guy out on the corner that holds up the retired veteran sign that begs for money. That's how I feel when I do door knocking. And so I just hang up door hangers. I figure if they see it and it's catchy and they decide to hire me, they can. Otherwise, they can throw it away, and I'll just continue to door knock neighborhoods or do door hangers in neighborhoods till somebody hires me. So bed bugs can't get into or out of a Ziploc bag. No, I don't think so. I've never had them get out of a Ziploc bag before. The Riddler says, if a population of roaches is immune to demon wettable powder, will they be immune to all pyrethroids? No, not all pyrethroids are the same. So if they're immune, so demon is cypermethrin. That's the active ingredient in demon. That doesn't mean they're also immune to bifenthrin or deltamethrin. So yeah, you can actually rotate your synthetic pyrethroids, and it works really well to knock down roaches. It's going to take you longer than 2 or 3 visits to get rid of the roaches, but you will eventually get rid of them. That's how we all used to do it. I mean, put some Zimprox in the tank, and then you'll have a lot better problem. You'll have a lot better or less of a problem getting rid of them if you use Zimprox with it, because Zimprox kind of stops that whole immunity issue with pesticides. Shelley says, how often should you spray for bed bugs? Some of the sprays I have used are really strong and are really hard to tolerate the odor. Crossfire doesn't really have much of an odor at all. When you first mix it, it kind of smells like bug spray, but it's not too bad, and after it's applied, you don't smell it at all. So I would recommend using something like that, because if you're having problems with the odor of the pesticide, it's probably something you bought over the counter. That's another thing about pyrethroids, is pyrethroids really smell strong. I mean, they smell like bad perfume. They're pretty horrible. And I don't recommend using them for bed bugs. For one thing, most of them you can't even treat the mattress, and that's where bed bugs like to live. And so I use Crossfire because you can treat the mattress. So that's what I recommend, is Crossfire. And you won't get that real chemically kind of horrible smell. So Florette asks, how much are your prices? Are you wanting to hire me? Where do you live? Because prices are, they change based on where you live. So I do statewide bed bugs. So I go all over Virginia for bed bugs. I charge mileage on top of my local rate. So, but rates are, if I lived in, say, Arlington, Virginia, I would charge probably 3 times what I charge here because the cost of living in Arlington is about 3 times the cost of living here. So you have to charge more. If I lived in a place, that was more run down and maybe more depressed, then I would probably charge, I'd probably charge about the same as I charge here because I'm pretty affordable. But typically you find that exterminators change their rates based on where they live. So if you live in an area where the pest control is more demand, then the demand will drive the price down. If you live in an area where you have less pest control competition, price will go up just because they can get more out of you because, well, I mean, you're going to hire somebody, right? And there's only 1 or 2 exterminators. They don't compete really. But the more population of pest control guys you have living around you, the more you'll pay. The more you'll pay, the less exterminators, the more you'll pay. So, if you're wondering, if you're trying to compare like my price to someone local, then you're you really can't. You really can't. You just have to call around. The best way that I tell people to figure out, who's the best price or whatever, don't worry about price. Worry more about the job. Talk to them, ask them questions, find out what they're going to do for the money they're asking you for. Okay, I was asking for someone that stayed in your area, so thanks for breaking that down. Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to call around and ask for a lot of prices. I tell people to call around and ask prices even when they call me. I talked to several people today that were local, and I'm like, you need to call around and you need to get second, third, fourth opinions because you want to make sure you get someone who actually knows what they're doing. The problem with pest control is that you don't need education to get into this field. You only need to pass a test. So if you can pass the test, then you can become a pest control technician. The difference between me and other pest control technicians is no one has 30 years of experience. It's just not. If you work as a technician, the technician field in pest control is very undervalued. And so we don't get paid enough to do our job. The median rate of pay for a pest control technician is anywhere from $20,000 to $35,000 in Virginia. You might luck up and get a $40,000 a year job. And if you've got children, it's just not a lot of money. You're not really making a lot of money to make it worth your time and your effort. But if you work as a manager or a sales manager, that's where you make a lot of money. Some of those guys working for Orkin and different companies make 6 figures a year because they're not really doing the field work anymore. They're working more with sales and managing people. So those people make a lot of money. The technicians really don't make anything. So I recommend that people call around and make sure the guy that's coming to your house actually knows what they're doing, and it's not just some salesman, because a salesman will tell you anything to get his foot in the door, and they're not going to treat you like a customer. They're going to treat you like a dollar sign, and that's the problem. And that's not just in pest control. That's in a lot of fields. So how often should you spray for bed bugs? Some of the sprays I have used... Oh, okay. I've already read that. So Dee Dee says, Jason, could you please show us how you search for your videos? A lot of questions can be searched on your channel. Oh, I can do that. Give me just a minute. Let me see these other questions real quick. Awesome. Thanks, man. I totally agree with the door knocking versus door hanging. Okay. I was wondering, as being a pest control technician, where were you ever worried about carrying bugs home with you? Have you ever had bed bugs personally from treating an infestation? I've had fleas. I've had roaches. I've never had bed bugs. Like that. That's a superstition thing. Not supposed to do that, but I did it anyway. But anyway, yeah, so I've never taken bed bugs home. Well, I have. So I showed you these. So I have taken bed bugs home. See? These bed bugs. There's bed bugs in there. There's bed bugs in there. There's eggs in there, bed bugs, babies, all kinds of bed bugs. And poop. I got a lot of poop in there because bed bugs are nasty. So yes, I have brought bed bugs home with me, but intentionally I brought them home so I could show them to you. So that's why I brought them home. Because when I go into an infested house, it's full of bed bugs, and I haven't sprayed yet, I collect them in a little jar and I take them home and I show them to you guys. So Dee Dee asked about searching my channel. Okay, so if I do this, and I take you back to my channel again, there's my channel, It's really. I said, by the way, if you ever go here, you just click this little button right here. It's a little red button that says subscribe. It says subscribe right there. I've got 10.8 thousand subscribers. So just turn that to 11, and that'll make me happy. So just make yourself about 200 accounts and just click that button. But anyway, so if you go here and you're wanting to search like a specific thing on my channel, there's a search bar right under the subscribe. This will search just my channel. So you can search there and you can say, let's say cockroach. And this will give you all the videos I've ever done on cockroaches. So there's like Cockroach Monday, episode 1, how to get rid of German cockroaches, guarantee 4 easy steps. That's a really good one. Dust correctly for roaches. This is stop failing with cockroach removal, how to use dust the right way. There's one, oh wow, that one looks like I'm picking my nose. Look at that. That's awful. That's awful. That's awful. That's awful. I've come a long way. That was back in 3 years ago. That's pretty bad. I like the thumbnails that I do now better. But yeah, I've got one here that hardly anybody has ever seen. It's got 2.5. Well, I guess it's got 2,500 views now. But this is Cockroaches Love a Refrigerator, and this is just took me like, it's only a minute long, but it actually I open it up and I show roaches running up the wall behind a refrigerator. So that's one way you can actually search my channel. If you have problems with, let's like say bed bugs, when you search my channel, I've got, oh, but see, that's a good one. That's the very first one that comes up. Proof. How to get rid of bed bugs in 24 hours. Guaranteed. Debunked. This is about a heat treatment. This is how I go over this video. This is one video on YouTube that's got millions of views. It's got millions of views because he brings bed bugs in and puts them on his bed and shows how he kills them with heat. And so you watch that video, you'll understand why that is bullshit. Sorry, I need to watch my language. But that video is not a good video. So anyway, that's how you find things on my channel. If you wanted to search, like, let's actually see, because someone was asking me about silverfish. Mothballs, yeah, see, I don't have a silverfish video. I can't remember. Yeah, I don't have one. I'm sorry, I don't have a silverfish video. But, so, yeah. So that's how you can search my channel for actually specific insects, because I tag every video with different bugs and stuff that you can find. What are your thoughts on Temperate FX? The Riddler asks, what are your thoughts on Temperate FX for roaches? It's okay. It's not bad. It's okay. It works. I still think Alpine is better. The Chosen One, hey, do you have any videos on how to mix Crossfire properly? No, but I'm working on one. I'm actually going to show how to mix a couple of different pesticides, not just Crossfire, but I'm going to show how to mix Alpine and some other ones too. But if you're wanting to mix and you want information now, what I recommend is Crossfire is 13 ounces to a gallon. So what you do is you mix your gallon half full. You take your jug, your spray can, and typically I recommend using a gallon jug. And so you mix half full of water, and then you pour your mix in, it's just 13 ounces, and then you fill it the rest of the way and you shake it really good. And that will equal a gallon of finished product. So that's what I recommend. That's how that's how you're supposed to mix pretty much all pesticides, is you mix your tank half full, you add your concentrate, and you mix it the rest of the way and shake it. So that's how you do it. Chaos Omen. When we got our apartment treated, they made us bag up everything in trash bags and wash and dry every piece of washable fabric we owned. Is there a reason why they did this? Because they were not going to use Crossfire. That's why they told you to do that. Because the problem is that this is why you don't need to remove all of your things. Because, okay, so if you use Crossfire, because like I was telling earlier, the difference between a repellent and a non-repellent. So if you're using a non-repellent pesticide, the bedbugs do not know the chemical is there. There's no reason to take everything out of your dressers, out of your drawers, out of your room, and just move everything around, disrupt the bedbugs, chase them into the walls, because that's what's going to happen when you go and change their living environment. You're going to drive them into places they shouldn't be. There's no reason to do that. You treat the mattress. You treat the box spring. You treat the bed rails, headboard, footboard. You treat the legs of the bed. you treat the baseboards, you treat everywhere the bed bugs like to hide, curtain rods, everywhere bed bugs like to hide, and then when the bed bugs are trying to get to you at night when you're sleeping in the bed and they crawl out to bite you, they crawl across the treated bed and they die. So there's no reason. So they're not going to stay in your clothes. They're not going to find a blood meal in your dresser. They're not going to find a blood meal in your nightstand. They're not going to find a blood meal in your closet. They're going to find a blood meal on you. So they're going to come out to bite you because you are there. So they crawl out, they crawl through the chemical to get to you, and they die. Crossfire is a that's why you use non-repellents, whether it's crossfire, whether it's bedlam, you want to use a non-repellent. It's very important that it's a non-repellent pesticide because you don't want the bed bugs to see the chemical. You want them to see you. You want them to come to you, crawl through the barrier that you create that they die in. So that's why I don't ever make people bag up everything, ever. Now, I do tell people, if you want me to treat your dresser, take the stuff out of your dresser. I will treat your dresser. Take the stuff out of your drawers. I will treat your drawers. You can't put things back in it until it's dry, but you can't come back in the house for 3-4 hours after you've done anyway because the place is wet, so you can't come in. So I can treat the dressers if you want me to. Some people take the stuff out. Some people don't worry about it. If people go to all the trouble to take the stuff out of their drawers, I treat the dresser just to be nice. I very rarely find bed bugs in the dressers, ever. I have found them in dressers maybe 2 or 3 times, but it's very rare. You just don't see it very often. So that's why I just think it's a waste of time for both the customer and the exterminator. Hi, tomorrow will be my first day working in Orkin, Los Angeles, California. Could you give me some points? I really appreciate that. Don't use any rodenticide. They outlawed rodenticide in California. Did you hear about that? California outlawed rodenticide. So you can't use rat poison to kill mice and rats anymore in the state of California. So good luck. That would annoy me because I like to kill rats and mice. California. So the chosen one says, another question on tempered FX. There are 2 openings, one where you measure on the left and the other where you can just spill it out. How do you use the measuring side? So a tip and pour measure is you don't break the foil on the pour side. You break the foil on the tip side. You screw the lid back on. You read your label. You pour it and you measure the right amount that what you're going to use in your gallon, and you look at the lines and then you pour it into your tank. So that's all you do. You don't open the side where you just glug it out. You never use that side. In fact, all of my chemical bottles, I don't ever use that side. I always use the tip and pour side. So I have a Roundup sprayer. Do I need to check if I can buy a metal tip for it because it's hard plastic now? I wouldn't mix pesticide in a Roundup container, especially when it's been used for Roundup. I would buy a new one. Personally, I wouldn't use an old garden sprayer or something like that. I mean, you can use a garden sprayer, but I would buy a new one. Honestly, they're cheap. You can get one for like $15 at Ace Hardware. They're not very expensive. So, well, let's see. How long have I been on? Oh wow, I've been over here over an hour. I said I was only going to spend an hour, so because I have to work tomorrow. I've got bed bugs in the morning. First thing in the morning, bright and early. Got to go kill bed bugs. So, I will be back next Thursday. You guys have a really great night. I appreciate all the questions. You guys always come through. You give me a great night. And I'll answer this one last question because it just came in, and then I'm going to get off here and get some sleep. You are saying bed bugs will come out to bite, but if there are bed bugs in the couch after the treatment, do we have to sit on the couch in order for them to bite us and die? Okay, so I treat the couch. So I treat the couch cushions. I flip the couch upside down. I treat inside the couch. I treat the arms of the couch. I treat everything on the couch. So if they come out and crawl when you sit on the couch, they're going to die anyway. You should always treat your couch. You don't just treat the bed. You treat the couch too. So hopefully that'll answer your question. You guys have a really great evening, and I will see you next week. Thanks.